Ava Sinclair's call came while I was locked in a deathmatch with several lines of stubbornly error-filled code. The pungent aroma of the beef-flavored instant ramen on my desk was the only thing in my 100-square-foot apartment that could remotely be described as the spice of life. My eyes were glued to the monitor, fingers flying across the keyboard in a desperate attempt to tame some arrogant bug. I had half of a slightly stale donut wedged in my mouth, making my voice a muffled grunt.
Leo.
Ava's voice, cool and crisp, came through the phone. It carried a familiar, unquestionable authority, a tone I knew she reserved for the camera. "I've made my decision." I responded distractedly, my brain still wrestling with a faulty logic gate. "We're going public," she said. The two words were sharp and clean, like pebbles dropped into the chaotic ocean of my code. My fingers froze midair on the screen. The cursor blinked innocently after the error message. The hell? The donut nearly fell out of my mouth. I caught it just in time, my voice jumping an octave. "Going public with what? That new shampoo commercial? Or did you roast another clueless paparazzo into a trending topic?" There were 2 seconds of silence on her end. I could practically picture her brows furrowing in that look she gets when she's dealing with someone particularly dense in our relationship. She enunciated each word with the clarity of a final court verdict. "Right now. Immediately. I've already had the studio draft the announcement. It goes live in 5 minutes." A loud clatter echoed as I knocked over my ramen cup. Scalding broth, smelling richly of cheap seasoning packets, splashed onto my keyboard and my favorite pair of faded board shorts. The monitor flickered a few times, then heroically died, going completely black. I leaped to my feet, ignoring the burning sting on my leg and the fate of my trusty battle-worn keyboard. My voice cracked. "Eva, are you insane? Your fans will drown me and spit 800 times over. And what about your studio? Your agent, Jenna? She'll eat me alive. I'm a bottom-rung coder. The kind of guy whose technical posts on forums get 0 replies. Go public with you. Am I worthy? What part of me is worthy?" I paced frantically around the mess, my flip-flops making desperate, squelching sounds in the greasy broth. A faint, almost inaudible laugh came from the other end of the line, like a feather brushing against my heart. It was laced with a hint of triumphant satisfaction that instantly doused most of my panic. "What are you so scared of?" Her voice softened, taking on the tone of someone calming a child. "I never said I was announcing you as my husband." I was speechless. The air knocked out of my lungs. "Just the relationship," she added casually. "Ava Sinclair is in love. How's that for a headline? Explosive enough for you?" Explosive. This was more than explosive. This was dropping a nuke into the internet's ammunition depot. I could already see the headlines flashing in my mind. "Illest superstar Ava Sinclair's romance revealed. Mystery boyfriend suspected to be a civilian." With Ava's current status in Hollywood as an icon, multiple major awards under her belt, America's sweetheart, her fans were a force of nature so powerful that even studios deferred to them. A story like this would crash servers for 3 days straight just to live up to her celebrity status. "No, Ava, listen." I tried to reason, my voice turning pleading. "Can't we just wait a little? At least until I get my next paycheck and can buy a decent shirt, or until my hair grows back a little. The way I look now, what's the difference between me and a programmer who's been struck by lightning?" I subconsciously touched my receding hairline, a product of chronic sleep deprivation and anxiety, and was overcome with a wave of despair. "Leo," her voice grew serious, imbued with a sincerity I couldn't fight. "I'm done waiting. 3 years of this underground relationship, sneaking around like thieves. I don't want to hide anymore. You're my man, and I want the world to know it. Not even God himself can change my mind." She paused, a sly note creeping into her tone. "Besides, you're always bragging about that Project Nightingale AI you built to protect me from trolls, claiming it's invincible. Well, it's time to put it to the test. Let's see if my bottom-rung coder was just bluffing." Before I could formulate a rebuttal, I heard her assistant in the background gently urging her to get ready for a live stream. "Be good. Wait for my update," she said quickly, and the line went dead. A dial tone buzzed in my ear. I stood in the middle of the wreckage, clutching my warm phone. The air was thick with the smell of instant ramen and despair. Outside, the sky was a gloomy gray, a perfect mirror of my mood. Going public. Ava Sinclair in love. I looked down at my grease-stained board shorts and the $3 flip-flops on my feet. I'm so screwed. 5 minutes later, my phone began to vibrate and scream like a ticking time bomb. Push notifications from Twitter, TMZ, and every news app imaginable assaulted my screen at a rate of 10 per second. My feed was instantly flooded by 2 words, Ava Sinclair. And the third dating, the post was followed by a glaring blood-red breaking tag. Twitter was broken. The servers, less than 10 seconds after a studio posted the concise announcement, had completely given up. Countless users were stuck on loading screens, staring in impotent fury at a blank page or a spinning wheel. The chaos was comparable to the day that another A-lister announced his marriage. The studio's tweet was masterfully restrained. Thank you for your continued care and support. Yes, Ms. Sinclair is currently in a serious and stable relationship. The other party is not in the industry, and we hope everyone can give them space and respect. In the future, Ava will continue to focus on her career and bring better work to you all. No photo, no name, no identity, just the words, not in the industry, which were enough to ignite the curiosity of the entire universe. My phone had become a hot potato, its vibration unrelenting in my message threads. High school, college, and old workgroup chats that had been dormant for years were suddenly resurrected. Messages flying by, holy sh*t, Ava Sinclair is official. My goddess is in love. Just kill me now. Someone not in the industry. Who? Which billionaire mogul is this? Leo Evans, dude, get in here. Didn't you have a massive crush on Ava in college? Weren't you the guy who wrote her that cringy poem that got read out loud? Haha. How you feeling now? Heartbroken, dude. Don't pour salt in the wound. Leo's probably debugging code in some dark corner right now. What does a goddess's love life have to do with us mortals? But for real, who is this mystery man? To get a goddess like Ava to go public for him? Does he own a mine? Some tech prodigy from overseas? My money's on a Wall Street hotshot or some low-key tech billionaire. Definitely not a corporate drone like us. I stared at the teasing and speculation in the chats, silently switched my phone to silent, and tossed it on the table, which was still messy with spilled ramen. Heartbroken? Not a chance. I just felt a deep, profound sense of dread. For the next few days, the entire internet was caught up in a collective Sherlock Holmes fever. Major forums, social media platforms, and even TikTok were flooded with discussions and guesses about Ava Sinclair's mystery boyfriend. Some analyzed her travel schedule and paparazzi photos from the last 6 months, trying to pinpoint the city or event where she might have met him. Los Angeles, New York, Miami, even a secluded private island became prime suspects. Others dug through obscure accounts Ava had once liked or followed, searching for clues. A fitness trainer's account, which Ava had liked once 6 months ago, was suddenly flooded with hundreds of thousands of visitors, forcing him to make his account private overnight. A niche photographer with an indie aesthetic also fell under suspicion simply because Ava had once mentioned in an interview that she loved the life in his shots. Even more absurdly, some tech wizard analyzed the timestamp and IP address of the studio's official tweet and, combining it with some far-fetched energy field theory, pinpointed a general area which, by a cruel twist of fate, included the dilapidated Van Nuys apartment complex where I lived. This theory was widely ridiculed. Get real. A star of Ava's caliber? Her boyfriend lives in a dump like that? Is this a rom-com? Seriously, that tech wizard is probably a quack. Everything around Ava, down to the mosquitoes, has to be designer. No way he lives in a place like that. But ridicule couldn't overcome morbid curiosity and the paparazzi's relentless professionalism. My neighborhood, which usually only saw food delivery guys and a landlord and had never seen a luxury car, suddenly became lively. Shady figures with long lens cameras started lurking around. Even the dumpsters seemed to be under special surveillance. I knew the storm was coming. I just didn't expect it to arrive in such a sudden and utterly humiliating way. It was a sweltering afternoon, humid and sticky after a recent downpour. I had pulled an all-nighter to meet a client's urgent deadline, and my head felt like it was stuffed with cotton. I was wearing a faded Hello World t-shirt with a stretched-out collar and my signature board shorts. On my feet, naturally, were the same durable $3 flip-flops that had served me for years. The trash in my apartment had been piling up for 2 days, mostly instant ramen cups, takeout containers, and empty soda bottles. If I didn't take it out, the small space would be conquered by the stench. Yawning, I shuffled in my flip-flops, carrying 2 bulging, ominously fragrant black trash bags, and ambled downstairs. The ground was pockmarked with puddles of murky water. I carefully navigated around them to the huge, perpetually overflowing green dumpster at the complex entrance. The moment I tossed the bags in, a foul odor hit me, so strong it almost made me gag up last night's ramen. I frowned instinctively, raising a hand to rub my nose and, while I was at it, scratch my greasy forehead, shiny from lack of sleep. This action, combined with my disheveled, zombie-like appearance and sloppy attire, was a perfect illustration of a corporate drone who had been repeatedly steamrolled by life. Just as I completed this heroic act and turned to go back for some much-needed sleep, I caught a quick flash from an unremarkable gray van parked in the alley across the street. It was like the glint of a camera lens. My stomach dropped. I was instantly wide awake. Crap. But my body reacted a beat too late. At almost the same moment, my phone buzzed violently in my pocket. It wasn't a call, but a push notification from a Twitter account I had special alerts for, as urgent as death summons. An entertainment gossip account known for its fast and ruthless exposés, the Hollywood Sentinel, had just posted. No text, just a single GIF. I clicked it open. The image was shaky and blurry, clearly shot with a telephoto lens. The background was the painfully familiar rundown entrance to my apartment complex and that grimy green dumpster. The star of the show was me. It had clearly captured the entire sequence. Me carrying the trash bags, struggling to heave them into the dumpster, grimacing at the smell, and then rubbing my nose and scratching my head. To top it all off, they had helpfully placed a large scarlet question mark over my puffy, greasy, and exhausted face. The caption was a killer blow. All points bulletin. Is this the mystery man? Ava Sinclair announced, spotted in Van Nuys, L.A. Check out the down-to-earth fashion. Peeped the flip-flops and the expert trash disposal form. This whole vibe, we'll let you be the judge. Popcorn. The post was like a block of ice dropped into a deep fryer. It exploded instantly. Trending topics shot up like rockets. Ava Sinclair's boyfriend takes out trash. $3 flip-flops. Coder chic. Ava Sinclair's taste. Each one followed by a row of shocking breaking tags. I opened the comments and my vision went black. I felt myself drowning in the saliva of a billion internet users. WTF. No way. No way. This is him. This is the guy my goddess is with. Some slob taking out the trash. Ah, Hawk. My eyes. My eyes are bleeding. Ava, wake up. Are you under a spell? Is he blackmailing you? $3 flip-flops. Board shorts. Greasy hair. Holy crap. The trifecta is complete. This is the standard uniform for the programmers who live at the land center near my office. Elmo case closed. Where's that tech wizard who predicted the IP address was in Venice? Come out and accept our worship. It sounded crazy, but it was true. Leo Evans. I know that guy. Went to college with him. The dude who wrote Ava that cringy poem and got publicly humiliated. I thought he went to know it. Did he fall on such hard times and actually get her? Is the guy above telling the truth? Holy crap, what a scoop. The ultimate story of punching above your weight. He must have used some dirty tricks, manipulation, drugs. He's blackmailing her. Otherwise, how is this possible? What does she see in him? His refusal to shower, his receding hairline. Gold digger. He's got to be a gold digger waiting for the full expose. Can't wait to see how he scammed our goddess. Ava Sinclair's studio needs to make a statement. This has to be a mistake. This guy isn't even worthy of shining her shoes. Sisters unite. We must protect Ava. Dox this freeloader. Make his life a living hell. Get him out of Ava's world. Insults, mockery, suspicion, conspiracy theories. A tsunami of vicious speculation crashed over me. My name, my embarrassing college stories, even the name of my former company were all dug up. My Twitter account, which had only a dozen bot followers, was instantly overrun. My DMs filled with curses and abuse. Even a help request I'd posted on a tech forum years ago was flooded with gawkers, leaving comments like, "Gold digger, scammer, and stay away from Ava." I sat in front of my computer, its light illuminating my expressionless face. The title of a trending post on a forum was particularly glaring: Deep Dive on the Freeloader Leo Evans. From simp to master manipulator, how did he con a superstar? The room was dead silent, save for the soft hum of the PC fan. The noise of the outside world and the raging storm on the internet seemed sealed off from this small space. I stared at the vicious celebratory words on screen, my fingers unconsciously tapping a rhythm on the desk. Was I angry? A little, but mostly I felt a sense of absurd calm, as if I were watching a ridiculous play that had nothing to do with me. Just then, my phone lit up. It was a video call request from Ava. I answered. Her face, still stunningly beautiful, even through a front-facing camera, filled the screen. She seemed to have just finished a press event. Her makeup was flawless, and the background was the interior of a luxury SUV. But her beautiful eyes were burning with a fierce rage, like a lioness whose territory had been invaded. "Leo, did you see that garbage?" Her voice was thick with suppressed anger and pain. "Don't listen to them. A bunch of keyboard warriors. I'm having Jenna handle it. We'll send cease and desists. We'll sue them into oblivion." Seeing her so worked up, the chill that the online mob had instilled in me strangely dissipated. I managed a tired smile. "It's fine, Ava. Getting yelled at a little won't kill me. Let them say what they want." "How is this fine?" she snapped, even more agitated. "They're saying such horrible things. They're doxing you. I can't let this go. Why should my man have to put up with this?" "Put up with this?" I raised an eyebrow, leaning back in my squeaky office chair, a playful tone entering my voice. "Actually, it's kind of interesting. Look." I clicked open the expose thread. "This poster has a great imagination. The story they came up with is so detailed. They're saying I used some ancestral magic to bewitch you. If I had that kind of power, I wouldn't be writing code. I'd be applying for a Nobel Prize." Ava was half exasperated, half amused. "Leo, this is not the time for jokes." "I'm not joking," I said, my smile fading. I looked at her, my gaze calm. "Really, it's fine. Your man isn't that fragile. This little storm is just a drizzle." I paused, my voice softening to a soothing murmur. "You focus on your work. Don't get distracted by this. Trust me, okay?" She looked at me, the anger in her eyes slowly receding, replaced by a complex mixture of heartache and worry. She opened her mouth to say something else. "Hey," I cut her off gently. "It's really okay. You know me. If the sky falls, I'll use it as a blanket. Go on, get back to work. I'll call you tonight." After a few more minutes of coaxing, she reluctantly ended the call. The screen went dark and the room was once again plunged into dim silence. The relaxed expression on my face vanished. I turned back to the computer, my eyes growing cold as I looked at the flood of malice on the screen. "A drizzle, huh?" I cracked my stiff neck and placed my fingers back on the keyboard. They were cold, but their movements were steady and forceful. The blue glow of the monitor reflected off my impassive face. I opened a simple black terminal window hidden under layers of decoy file paths. Green characters scrolled rapidly across the screen as I typed. Project Nightingale. I had spent countless nights building it years ago. Initially, its purpose was just to block harassing DMs and negative comments meant for her. Over time, it grew larger, more intelligent, becoming an invisible shield that silently filtered out most of the internet's malice directed at her. It lay dormant in a vast ocean of data, working without a sound. But now, someone was trying to tear a hole in that shield, trying to sling mud directly at the person I cared about most. I pulled up the system's back end. The screen was instantly filled with dense data streams and monitoring information. Countless red warning dots blinked on a map, marking the source IPs of high-intensity attacks, attempts to bypass the system's defenses, or accounts that were frantically spreading malicious information. My gaze locked onto a few clusters that were unusually active with extremely aggressive and targeted attack patterns. These were the sources organizing the doxing, spreading the expose, and even trying to hack into AA Studio's email server. Interesting, I muttered, a cold smile touching my lips. My eyes were as sharp as a drawn blade. They really think I'm a pushover. My fingers danced across the keyboard, a blur of motion. I began inputting lines of dizzyingly complex commands, overriding the system's automated defense protocols. The firewall strategy was reconfigured in an instant, its defense level raised exponentially. The source tracing module was activated at full power like the keenest of hounds, tracking the attacks back to their origins, leaving no digital stone unturned. Malicious scripts were identified with precision, then instantly consumed by a more powerful script, which reverse-engineered them, analyzed their signatures, and finally a series of gift packages containing the attacker's detailed IPs, device information, and even some associated social media accounts were quietly compiled. After all that, I leaned back in my chair and let out a long breath. I hit the final Enter key on the screen. The red warning dots dimmed and extinguished one by one at a visible rate. For a moment, the world seemed quiet. That was just the appetizer, I thought coldly. Then I opened the tech forum and logged into my long-dormant account, Ian Lee. A help request was pinned to the top of the forum's homepage, its title in bold red, code red. Stellar Dynamics Online Marketplace and Core Database under catastrophic attack by unknown hacker group. $1 million bounty for rescue. The poster was the head of security at Stellar Dynamics, his tone desperate. Stellar Dynamics, one of the nation's top AI and cloud computing giants with a market cap in the trillions. Its online marketplace and core database held the transaction and private data of hundreds of millions of users. Its absolute lifeblood. A breach would be catastrophic. The post already had hundreds of replies. Experts from all over tried to analyze the situation, but their conclusions were grim. The attack traffic is insane. It's a distributed attack. All source IPs are proxies, impossible to trace. Their methods are surgical. They're exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in a low-level protocol none of us even knew about. The firewall is useless. It's over. They're already exfiltrating data in bulk and they're encrypting it. It's a variant of ransomware. $1 million bounty is useless. Not even a miracle could fix this unless Yen Li himself showed up. But who knows where that legendary god is these days? Stellar Dynamics is about to take a massive hit. A user data leak of this magnitude will tank their stock price. I skimmed through the analyses, my eyes stopping on their description of the low-level protocol zero-day vulnerability. I remembered seeing a vague discussion about a proof of concept for it in a niche security research mailing list about 6 months ago. I thought it had potential for trouble and had scribbled out a conceptual patch to test the theory, but never followed up. It seems some expert had picked it up and sharpened it into a lethal weapon. Time was short. Without even looking at the bounty amount, I clicked on the original poster's DMs. My fingers paused over the keyboard for less than a second, then began to type. No pleasantries, no introduction, just a single brutally concise line of code. Patch P0 critical kernel_fix diff attached was a heavily encrypted and obfuscated download link pointing to the core of the vulnerability patch I had just perfected and verified in my head. Sent. Having done that, I closed the forum page as if nothing had happened, switched back to my code editor, and went back to wrestling with my client's bug. As if the person who had just casually tossed out a patch that could save a trillion-dollar company from ruin wasn't me. Stellar Dynamics Headquarters, Cybersecurity War Room. On the massive wraparound screen, blood-red zones representing the malicious attack traffic were spreading like a plague, consuming the green areas of normal service. Alarms blared as technicians in company-logoed T-shirts, their faces pale, typed furiously, sweat soaking through their shirts. Director, it's no use. The main database node is about to collapse. Data exfiltration is accelerating. The backup firewall cluster has been bypassed. They found a new entry point. The ransomware is starting to encrypt the backup servers. Damn it! The security director, an old tech veteran named Xiao with graying hair, stared at the screen, his eyes bloodshot, his lips a thin white line. The $1 million bounty posed had vanished into the ether. Despair washed over him like an icy tide. Suddenly, a technician shot up from his chair, his voice cracking with excitement. Director, look at that private message. Someone sent a patch link. All eyes snapped to his screen. What patch? Who sent it? Xiao sprinted over to the ID. It's Ian Lee. The technician's voice trembled with disbelief. Ian Lee. The entire war room erupted. In the security world, that name was a myth, a legend. He was one of the original architects of Stellar Dynamics' core AI framework, which had built the company's empire. But he was famously private, had never made a public appearance, and had been completely off the radar for years. Validate it. Deploy it now. Zhao's voice was a raw shout, his heart pounding. It was a long shot, but it was all they had. The tech team downloaded, decrypted, and validated the patch file at lightning speed. When the lines of elegant, brilliant code that struck directly at the heart of the vulnerability appeared before them, all the top-tier engineers gasped. Genius! This is art. This approach, it's God-tier. It completely seals the zero-day exploit. Move. Deploy to all edge nodes and core servers. Now. As the patch was rapidly pushed and took effect, a miracle occurred on the massive screen. The surging tide of red abruptly halted as if stopped by an invisible dam. The attack traffic began to plummet. The progress bar for data exfiltration froze. The rampaging ransomware, as if choked, stalled, and died. We stopped it. We actually stopped it. The cheers were loud enough to shake the room. Quick, initiate emergency recovery protocols. Retake control. Purge the ransomware. Zhao's voice trembled with emotion. Stellar Dynamics was fighting back. At the same time, the long-silent Hollywood Central account suddenly released a grainy piece of security footage. The clip showed a suspicious hooded figure lurking in the underground garage of Ava's luxury apartment building a few nights prior. The figure appeared to tamper with something near Ava's designated parking spot. This footage dropped into a public already hostile towards the freeloader Leo Evans, providing a new outlet for their rage. See proof. This creep was trying to mess with Ava's car. It has to be the freeloader trying to get revenge because she was going to dump him. How vile. Call the police. He has to be arrested. He's a danger to society. At LAPD, you need to see this. A public figure's safety is being threatened. He calls to dox him, expose him, lock him up, and throw away the key reached a fever pitch. My name was once again at the center of the storm, this time with the added label of criminal suspect. Just as public opinion had completely turned, with a mob ready to convict me, Stellar Dynamics' official Twitter account posted an announcement that sent shockwaves through the tech world and the entire internet. Crisis averted, a tribute to a hero. The announcement briefly explained that the company had suffered the most severe cyber attack in its history and that its core business and user data had been in grave danger. Then, in bold highlighted text, it read, "At this critical juncture, we were incredibly honored to receive crucial assistance from the legendary figure of the cybersecurity world and one of Stellar Dynamics' own co-founders, Mr. Yen Lee. At the 11th hour, Mr. Yen Lee provided the ultimate patch for the core vulnerability of this attack, single-handedly turning the tide and saving Stellar Dynamics and the data of hundreds of millions of users. We offer Mr. Yen Lee our highest respect and sincerest gratitude." At the end of the announcement was a symbolic image, a majestic server array in the background and, in the foreground, a simple, technologically elegant golden shield emblem. In the center of the shield were two letters, Y, ED. This was Stellar Dynamics' highest internal award for technical contribution, granted to only a select few. Among the company's core employees, the name Yen Lee was already spoken with the reverence one would reserve for a deity. This announcement was a true nuclear bomb, setting off an unprecedented tsunami across the already boiling internet. The tech world exploded. Holy St. Yen Lee, a living legend. Stellar Dynamics' hidden boss. Turn the tide. He single-handedly stopped an attack from a state-level hacker group. What kind of god is he? A co-founder of Stellar Dynamics. I always thought Yen Lee was a pseudonym or a team. He's a real person. I need to see his face. I kneel before this master. The entertainment world and the general public were also stunned. Wait. Stellar Dynamics co-founder Yen Lee. The initials Leo Evans. Leo Evans, the programmer who takes out the trash and flip-flops. He's Yen Lee of Stellar Dynamics. My brain just short-circuited. This world is insane. Plot twist. The mother of all plot twists. The freeloader is actually a tech titan. So Ava Sinclair's boyfriend is the co-founder of Stellar Dynamics. Yen Lee, the one worth billions. To everyone who called him a gold digger, how's your face feeling right now? The man was just a billionaire experiencing life as a commoner. A billionaire who takes out the trash and wears flip-flops. The contrast. I'm speechless. That Project Nightingale anti-troll system. Could it be? The trending topics went completely wild, with related hashtags dominating the top 10. Stellar Dynamics co-founder, Sinclair's boyfriend, related the flip-flopping Air Project Nightingale plot twists. The old exposed thread and the so-called criminal surveillance footage released by the Hollywood Sentinel instantly became the internet's biggest joke. Countless users flooded the post to mock them. Where's the original poster? Come on out. What happened to the freeloader, the scammer, the dirty tricks? Sentinel. More like a busted magnifying glass from the dollar store. You looked at the wrong guy. Not worthy of shining Yen Li's shoes. I think you're not worthy of shining his flip-flops. Ava's taste is impeccable. He's not a gold digger. He's a diamond-encrusted meal ticket for life. The tide of public opinion had reversed 180 degrees. My Twitter account, with its dozen bot followers, exploded, gaining thousands of new followers per second. My DMs were filled with apologies, worshipful messages, and partnership offers. My phone was ringing off the hook. Zhao's excited, incoherent voice came through the receiver. And Mr. Li, no, Ian. Sir, where are you? The entire board wants to meet you to thank you in person and about that $1 million bounty donated to charity. I interrupted him, my tone casual as if I were commenting on the weather. And Xiao, do me a small favor. Anything. I'd go through hell and high water for you, Xiao promised. That gossip account, the Hollywood Sentinel, and the original source IDs that organized the doxing and spread the rumors. My voice turned cold. The evidence has already been compiled by Project Nightingale. I'll send it to your email shortly. Stellar Dynamics legal department isn't too busy these days, are they? Xiao understood immediately, his voice hardening. Understood. Don't you worry, sir. I'll make sure they rot in jail. They messed with you and Miss Sinclair. They were asking for it. After hanging up, I leaned back in my chair and let out a long sigh. The world was finally quiet. The apartment door clicked open, and a fragrant breeze swept in. Ava burst in like a whirlwind, a radiant, dazzling smile on her face that completely betrayed the angry woman from the video call. She rushed over to me and, ignoring my timeless Hello World t-shirt, threw her arms around my neck, practically hanging off me. So, how does it feel to have your cover blown, Mr. CEO? She said, tilting her head up. Her eyes were sparkling like they held a galaxy. Her tone was full of playful triumph, the flip-flop-wearing titan of Stellar Dynamics. I wrapped an arm around her waist to keep her steady and smiled wearily. Thanks to you, Ms. Sinclair. I've just been on a roller coaster that nearly rattled my old bones to dust. Oh, stop it, she said, poking my chest playfully before breaking into another grin. She leaned in close to my ear, her voice a low, devilishly tempting whisper. But I've never seen you in a tailored suit, tie, and slicked-back hair. How would you like to give certain people an even bigger surprise? I looked into her mischievous eyes and understood instantly. My heart, against my will, skipped a beat. A week later, at the Starlight Awards, the most prestigious film award ceremony in the country, the red carpet was a galaxy of stars surrounded by an arsenal of cameras. Ava, on the arm of a respected veteran actor, arrived as the final guest of honor. She was a vision in a breathtaking silver fringe gown that hugged her perfect curves. Her makeup was immaculate, her presence commanding. She instantly captivated every lens, the undisputed queen of the night. On Twitter, Ava Sinclair, Carpet Queen, shot to the top of the trending list. Meanwhile, I used the VVIP invitation Ava had given me to slip in through a private entrance. I took my seat in the front row, a prime spot arranged by the organizers. I was dressed in a black velvet custom-tailored suit from an elite Italian designer that fit me perfectly. My hair was styled, revealing my forehead. A pair of rimless glasses rested on my face, hiding the faint traces of my sleepless nights and adding an air of intellectual sharpness. On my feet, not flip-flops, but a pair of pristine handmade Oxford shoes. I sat there blending into the glamorous crowd, yet exuding a unique, quiet intensity that belonged to the world of tech. Many industry moguls and celebrities around me cast curious, speculative glances, whispering about the distinguished-looking stranger who had suddenly appeared in the front and center seats. The ceremony proceeded smoothly. When the time came to announce the award for Best Actress, the presenter read out the name that was on everyone's mind, Ava Sinclair. The applause was deafening. The spotlight instantly found her. She rose gracefully, a perfectly composed, joyous smile on her face, and under the adoring gaze of thousands, walked regally to the stage. After accepting the heavy Starlight trophy, Ava stood at the microphone, bathed in a golden light. She took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the audience before they landed precisely and without hesitation on me. Her beautiful eyes were filled with starlight and an affection so deep it was palpable. I want to thank the Academy and everyone who has supported me. Her acceptance speech was heartfelt and moving. At the end, she paused, held up her trophy, and a smile that could outshine the sun and moon broke across her face. Then, looking directly at me, she gave a playful, crystal-clear wink. "And of course, a very special thanks to my North Star," she said, her voice carried by the microphone throughout the entire hall, ending on a sweet note. The high-definition camera caught the wink. Almost instinctively, the director cut to a close-up of where she was looking. My face projected onto the massive screen behind the stage. Whoa! A huge, gossip-fueled gasp and round of applause erupted from the audience. On the screen, I was poised and composed in my suit, a faint, fond, and slightly weary smile on my lips as I gave a small nod in her direction. The live-stream chat exploded. OMG, that wink! Who was that for? Who's the camera on? Who is that handsome guy in the front row in the black suit? He's so charismatic. Wait, he looks familiar. Holy crap, Leo Evans. The Leo Evans from Stellar Dynamics. Oh my God, it really is him. He looks so good in a suit. So hot. North Star. Ava was thanking Leo. Oh, this is so sweet. A public declaration of love. This is official. My ship has sailed, and it's the sweetest in the universe. The ceremony's atmosphere reached a fever pitch. The host, clearly sensing a massive viral moment, cleverly intervened as Ava was about to leave the stage. "Ava, please stay. It seems that besides the joy of winning tonight, you have even greater joy to share with us. That wink and your North Star has us all dying of curiosity." Ava stood gracefully at the center of the stage, smiling but silent, her gaze fixed on me. The host took the hint. "So, might we be so honored as to invite Ava's North Star to come up on stage and share his feelings with us?" The spotlight swiveled and landed squarely on me. Every eye in the room, every camera, every flashbulb was focused on that single spot. I slowly stood up, calmly adjusted the cuffs of my suit, and then under the silent, watchful gaze of the entire audience, I walked with steady, measured steps towards the stage. The sound of my leather shoes on the polished floor was crisp and firm. Each step felt like it was crushing the old labels of freeloader and scammer into dust. I walked onto the stage and stood beside Ava under the bright lights. She looked up at me, her eyes filled with complete trust and pride. She subtly hooked her finger around my palm. I enclosed her cool hand in mine. Taking the microphone from a host, I calmly surveyed the sea of shocked, curious, and envious faces below. Finally, my steady, clear voice resonated through the auditorium and to every viewer watching the broadcast. "Thank you. Good evening, everyone." I paused, turning to look at the smiling woman beside me, my gaze gentle but firm. "Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Leo Evans, co-founder of Stellar Dynamics, also known as Yen Li," and I squeezed her hand, my voice not loud but carrying immense weight as I made my declaration. "I am Ava Sinclair's husband, her legal and one and only love." The room erupted. The sound of applause, gasps, and whistles was deafening. The information was overwhelming. Husband, legal, not a boyfriend, a husband. The live-stream chat was moving so fast the words were a blur. Husband. Husband. Ah, they're married. Legal love. The tech titan said it himself. So, they were married all along. No wonder Ava was so bold. This is too sweet. I'm going to die from the sugar rush. This announcement gets a perfect score. So damn cool. Under the spotlight, a beautiful blush colored Ava's cheeks. She held up her golden trophy, mischievously placed in my free hand, and then looking at the camera and the whole world, She smiled brightly and proudly and winked again. "See, honey," her voice, sweet and teasing, came through the microphone. "You're trending again." On a massive screen, the live trending topics were clearly visible. Ava Cinco Evans, Stellar Titan, and Ava Sinclair's husband, legal love, award show reveal, Starlight Trophy witnesses love. Every single one tagged breaking. Below us was a sea of thunderous applause and joyous cheers. The flashing lights made the stage as bright as day. I stood there, one hand holding a cold trophy, the other holding the warmest love of my life, gazing at the brilliant starlight and a mischievous smile reflected in her eyes. All the noise seemed to fade away. The code, the attacks, the insults, the doubts, all of it became distant background noise. Only the warmth in my hand felt real. It was all worth it.